Daily Words of God.
God uses his management of people to defeat Satan. By corrupting people, Satan brings people's fate to a close and harasses God's work. On the other hand, God's work is the salvation of humanity. Which step of God's own work is not meant to save humanity? Which step is not meant to cleanse people, to make them do righteousness, and live in a manner that creates an image that can be loved? Satan, however, does not do this. It corrupts humanity. It continuously carries out its work of corrupting humanity throughout the universe. Of course, God also does his own work. He pays no attention to Satan. No matter how much authority Satan has, its authority was still given by God. God merely did not actually give it all his authority. And so no matter what it does, it cannot surpass God and is always within God's grasp. God did not reveal any of his acts while in heaven. He merely gave Satan a small portion of authority to allow it to exercise control over the angels. Therefore, no matter what it does, it cannot surpass God's authority, because the authority that God originally gave it is limited. As God works, Satan harasses. In the last days, it will finish its harassment. Likewise, God's work will be finished, and the kind of person God wishes to complete will be completed. God directs people positively. His life is living water, immeasurable and without limits. Satan has corrupted man to a certain degree. In the end, the living water of life will complete man, and it will be impossible for Satan to interfere and carry out its work. Thus, God will completely obtain these people. Satan still refuses to accept this now. It continuously pits itself against God, but God pays it no attention. He has said, "I will be victorious over all of Satan's dark forces and over all dark influences." This is the work that must now be done in the flesh, and it is also the meaning of the incarnation. It is to complete the stage of work of defeating Satan in the last days, to wipe out all things that belong to Satan. God's victory over Satan is an inevitable trend. Satan actually failed long ago. When the gospel began to spread throughout the land of the great red dragon, that is, when God incarnate began working, and this work was set in motion, Satan was utterly defeated, for the incarnation was meant to defeat Satan. Satan saw that God had once again become flesh, and had also begun to carry out his work, and it saw that no force could stop the work. Therefore, it was dumbfounded when it saw this work, and did not dare to do any more work. At first, Satan thought that it also possessed plenty of wisdom, and it interrupted and harassed God's work. However, it did not expect that God had once again become flesh, and that in his work, God had used its rebelliousness to serve as a revelation and judgment for humanity, and thereby conquer humanity and defeat it. God is wiser than it, and his work far exceeds it. Therefore, I previously stated the following: "The work that I do is carried out in response to Satan's ruses. In the end, I will reveal my almightiness and Satan's powerlessness. When God does his work, Satan tails him from behind, until in the end, it is finally destroyed. It will not even know what hit it. It will only realize the truth once it has already been smashed and crushed. At that time, it will already have been burned in the lake of fire. Will it not be completely convinced then? For it has no more schemes to employ.